Have you ever thought, how is my pelvic floor being activated today? Don't worry, many of us don't. But today's episode, we're going to be bringing awareness of what our pelvic floor is, what it does, and how we can activate it throughout the day. Also, we're back discussing maternal health in the news, from reality TV stars starting their journey of parenthood to New Mexico making changes with their state's childcare. Welcome to Wednesday Wellness Debrief, your journey to wellness and maternal health. I'm your host, Brittany, group fitness instructor and maternal health advocate. If you're finding our content helpful, please take a moment to follow us on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe so you don't miss on any of our future discussions. Disclaimer: our aim with this episode is to offer a supportive space for learning and discussions about wellness. However, it's vital to understand the information shared is not a substitute for professional medical consultation. We encourage you to use what you learn here as a starting point for conversations with your own medical provider who can officially diagnose and develop a treatment plan tailored specifically for you. Maternal health in the news. Our segment where we focus on stories and social media posts that focus on the mattresses space. Starting with reality TV, a huge congratulations to Love is Blind alums Lauren Speed Hamilton and Cameron Hamilton. We are sending them all of our love, support, and postpartum magic to them as they've welcomed their first baby at the beginning of October. This was reported by People magazine. The Hamiltons shared their news after what they described as a long 4-year journey of trying to conceive. This news, in a way, is a beautiful full circle moment. If you remember recently, I dedicated a whole episode that discussed how reality television can sometimes and maybe surprisingly reflect the actual messy and deeply transformative journey of mattresses. The vulnerability that Lauren and Cameron have consistently shown, from getting married sight unseen to sharing their fertility struggles, only reinforces that parenthood is a journey of true transformation. On a vital note of maternal health awareness, I want to give a major shout out to Lauren and Cameron. They continue to use their platform to bring awareness, and they brought awareness to preeclampsia, a serious condition that impacted the baby's delivery, having the baby arriving a little bit earlier than planned, but perfectly on the baby's time. Here at Wednesday Wellness Debrief, raising awareness is exactly what we strive to do as well. If the news of preeclampsia has piqued your interest and you want to know a little bit more, please know we have you covered on this critical topic. We have 2 specific episodes dedicated to this. One, we have an amazing interview with Portia Holland Atumbe. She is a Take 10 Preeclampsia Foundation ambassador, where we discuss the impacts that preeclampsia has on parents, families, and society at large. We have a second episode that also breaks down the clinical definition of what preeclampsia is, how it impacts the mother mentally and emotionally, thanks to the Preeclampsia Foundation website, symptoms, and why early detection is so important. You can find both of these episodes in the description below. And again, congratulations to the Hamiltons on welcoming their baby. That is a beautiful and powerful start to the next chapter of their journey. Now, let's pivot into some policy news. You know, I got to use that master's degree that directly supports the reality of parenthood, structural support. This week, we celebrate a massive step forward for families in the American Southwest. According to ABC News, Good Morning America, the state of New Mexico is making history by becoming the first state in the United States to offer universal, free childcare for infants and toddlers that will require absolutely no copays from families. As you know, mattress sense, and I've been using that word a lot, which means the entire spectrum of becoming a mother, is often overshadowed by logistics and financial stress. The cost and scarcity of infant care is one of the greatest barriers to parental well-being and career longevity, often forcing impossible choices. Again, looking at the prices of daycare in the United States is astronomical. It's more than grocery bills and food prices, and people have to make those hard choices. But this move by New Mexico is essentially eliminating the cost of care for our youngest citizens is a powerful recognition that raising a child is not just private responsibility, it is a societal endeavor. When society invests in childcare, it is investing directly in maternal health, reducing stress hormones, and supporting parental mental health. And this is supported by the Policy Center for Maternal Mental Health. In an article, it says research shows that having access to affordable and quality childcare can have positive benefits on both maternal and child mental health. Access to quality childcare buffers children from negative emotional and behavioral impacts from any existing maternal mental health disorders and other adverse family conditions. Basically, granting freedom for parents to focus on healing postpartum, to return to work or education without the crushing weight of childcare bills, and affirms that high quality early development for infants is right, not a luxury for the wealthy. We look forward to seeing how this pioneering policy unfolds and hope it inspires other states to prioritize the foundational support that new families deserve. And honestly, I am truly hopeful that New Mexico does right by the families and the children in this policy, because this could be the spark of change that's needed countrywide to make childcare more affordable. And speaking of local impact, this is where you come in. We want to cover stories that matter most to our community. The local maternal health wins, the policy changes in your town, or personal experiences that you feel need to be amplified. If you have a local story, a piece of news, or a community resource you think would be perfect for our maternal health in the news segment, please reach out to us at podcast, podcast, at prismaticvenusfitness.com. I'll leave it in the description below so you can copy and paste the email if you want. You can send the details directly to our dedicated email address. Let's share those stories together. And that is it for maternal health in the news. Today we're focusing on physical wellness. And with our focus being on pelvic floor activation, we need to break down what exactly is the pelvic floor. Now, once you take your core area, imagine it as a soda can, any soda can, Sprite, Coke Zero, anything. The top of your soda can is where your ribs start, under your chest. That houses your diaphragm. Now, the bottom, aka where your pelvis is where your pelvic floor sits. And your pelvic floor basically holds up your reproductive organs, your bladder, your bowels, and it helps guide the baby out during delivery. And the center, the muscles wrapped around your rib cage and your belly button is protecting you. And those are your transverse abdominis. Before we get into the actual pelvic floor activation, I want you to guess how many attachment points of the pelvic floor there are. Did you guess? No cheating. It's 4. There are 4 attachment points. The front, which is the pubic symphysis, the back, which is your tailbone, and the sides, sits bones. And to perform effective pelvic floor activation, we must activate all 4 attachment points. Before we practice, I can admit this is very hard because you cannot see the muscles, but we're going to find them together. If you're in a safe place, I want you to sit on the edge of your seat. Imagine you're peeing and stop the flow. Open the flow. Stop the flow. Open the flow. That is the front of your pelvic floor, aka your pubic symphysis. Put a pin in that. Imagine you're trying to stop yourself from passing gas. Stop it. Let it go. Stop it. Let it go. That's the back of your pelvic floor. I want you to imagine it's less about glute activation and it's a more internal thing. Think less Megan Thee Stallion, more internal work. Now, I want you to take the palms of your hands, face them to the sky. Now sit on them. I want you to feel some bones poking through your booty. Those are your sits bones. And with your fingertips, try to bring them closer together, then release them. Closer together, then release them. Those are the sides of your pelvic floor. So now we've located the pelvic floor and the 4 attachment points. Now it's time to get into pelvic floor activation. We're going to start with 360 breathing. I want you to take your hands and make L shapes with your thumbs and then attach them to the top of your rib cage where your diaphragm is. I want you to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. I want you to feel your rib cage expanding and then blow through the mouth like you're blowing out birthday candles until your lungs are empty. That is 360 breathing. Basically, we're activating our entire soda cam, starting with the diaphragm, the transverse abdominis, and the pelvic floor muscles to make it work. The diaphragm and the pelvic floor have a symbiotic relationship, and the best way to access your pelvic floor is often through breathing techniques involving the diaphragm. A great way to imagine this now to activate the pelvic floor to see if it's working. Imagine there's a blueberry on the chair and we're trying to pick it up with all 4 points of the pelvic floor. So sit up nice and tall, inhale through the nose, pick up the blueberry, exhale, drop the blueberry. Inhale through the nose, hold for 4, exhale out for 6. During the inhalation, the diaphragm contracts and lowers while the pelvic floor relaxes. And during exhalation, the diaphragm passively elevates and the pelvic floor contracts and elevates. Everyone's heard it on social media, Kegel, Kegel, Kegel. It's really popular. And it's important to activate the Kegel. But what we just learned is that the Kegel really only activates the pubic symphysis, aka the front of the body. It does not activate our sits bones and our tailbone. So we're really only activating one part of the pelvic floor. And for it to be active, every single point, the 4 points need to be active. The goal of the pelvic floor activation is to strengthen and lengthen the pelvic floor muscles, especially during pregnancy. I want to give you a better picture. So imagine you have a barbell and you're doing a bicep curl on your right side. Bring the bicep curl up and hold it. You're squeezing, you're squeezing, you're squeezing, you're squeezing. We all know squeezing is really important in our workout, but lengthening is even more important. So we're not putting so much pressure on the muscle. Even with holding our blueberry in our pelvic floor, you squeeze the blueberry, you let it go. That's what makes your muscles stronger, is by lengthening and letting your body relax once we've found that strength. The comprehensive C-section guide is packed with expert advice, practical tips, and emotional support to help you navigate every stage of your C-section journey. From preparation and recovery to managing pain and embracing your new body. They even have video demos, recovery strategies, and scar massages. They have a very detailed list about it and even video demos. This guide is truly a lifesaver, offering insights that can empower you and make your recovery smoother. You can find the affiliate link for a prenatal C-section guide in our episode description. We highly recommend you checking it out. And that's our show for today. Thank you for joining me as we discuss the pelvic floor, the 4 points of the pelvic floor, and pelvic floor activation. If you like this episode, you can check out our episode Unlocking the Secrets of Pelvic Floor Health with Dr. Christine Ballou. She's a pelvic floor specialist and physical therapist, where we get to talk about pelvic floor health, how it impacts your mental health, and much more. I'll leave a link to it in the show notes below if you'd like to take a listen. And I want you to remember, your health and well-being are paramount. If you have any concerns, always consult your healthcare provider. If you're enjoying these episodes, make sure you subscribe. It's completely free, and it's the easiest way to make sure our empowering conversations on maternal health show up in your feed every week. Our next episode will be out November 26th, right before Thanksgiving, and it's an amazing interview with pre- and postnatal nutritionist Tanisha Hill. We'll be discussing challenges in understanding nutrition advice and Tanisha's research-backed approach to making pregnancy nutrition less stressful, especially when it comes to cultural foods. Until then, stay strong, stay nourished, and stay well. And activate your pelvic floor. Bye.